The final Green Bay Packers 7-round mock draft. I hope I get one right. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. So many mock draft Grossies. Yep. It's draft week, folks. But today, yes, we will be taking a look at the final Packers 7-round mock draft that we will do for the 2020 NFL Draft. But before we get to that, I want to do a big shout and thank you to a brand new Patreon, Kyle Murtaugh. Thank you very much for joining over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. It is much appreciated. Now, I have done, obviously, one of these. I did it, I think it was last week at this point. The days just blur together. Last week, week before, one of those times. And this week, what I wanted to do is I wanted to implement trades into it. And so what I think is the most likely trade, again, the Packers could trade up. They obviously could. We don't have a ton of draft capital, but I see them more trading back, which will be reflected in this mock. So let's get to it. So at number 30, oh wait, the Green Bay Packers aren't going to trade there in this mock. That's right. The Green Bay Packers, instead, what I had them doing was trading back from 30 with the Jacksonville Jaguars, so the Jaguars can hop up back in because 2 first-round picks weren't enough for them to get a third, and in exchange, we would get their 42nd pick and their 73rd pick. So I thought that there was some great value there. So that being said, with the 42nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the first guy I had them going for is Zach Baum, the linebacker from Wisconsin. Now, I've been focusing on Vaughn now for like a little bit more than about a week and a half. He came across my radar a lot earlier. A lot of people were bringing him up, and I watched him, and while he is primarily an outside linebacker, I think he could easily be converted to the inside. He has good coverage ability. He can stop the run, and I honestly think that he's worth taking a look at. It's most likely we're not going to get a Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray unless we trade up for them, and so I think this fulfills a strong need. Now, there is a part of me that doesn't even think that the Packers are going to go inside linebacker or linebacker for the first 2 picks, but if we were to trade back, I think it's more likely. Honestly, I did so many of these mocks, and the toughest thing is I think the Green Bay Packers within the first 2 picks are going to target an offensive tackle. The problem is I feel like there is going to be a run of offensive tackles in the first round. And so that's exactly what I predict is going to happen. And that's why I traded back, because we just didn't have an offensive tackle that made sense there at 30. And so I went with Zach Baum. It fulfills a need. Obviously, we have Christian Kirksey, but this would allow me to sleep a little bit better at night for the inside linebacker position. Then at number 62, I got Lucas Niang, the offensive tackle from TCU. Now, I'm going to put a caveat here. Again, I think they're going to go offensive tackle. Here's the good stuff. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, has played right tackle, has NFL starter written all over him. Struggles a little bit with edge defenders, but I think he could be really, really good. The problem is he had to have hip surgery this past season, so he needs to check out medically. If he does, I think he's a great pick. We need a right tackle. Obviously, I have Ricky Wagner there for right now, but we need somebody to replace him, and I think that this guy could definitely fit the bill. Then at number 73, this is a little bit of a me pick, but I went with Bryan Edwards, the wide receiver from South Carolina. Now, it's possible the Packers pick up a wide receiver at the end of the second round, or hell, even of the first round. I think it'll be more second, though. But I loved what I saw at Bryan Edwards. I did more of a breakdown when I broke down 10 different wide receivers for day 2, and he has some amazing catches. He's been consistent, and the big problem, again, is the injuries. He had a knee injury that gives me a little bit of cause for concern, but some of the catches that this guy makes, and again, I implore you to go look at the Tennessee catch and just go, holy crap. And he constantly made some incredible catches, goes up, win those 50-50 balls, and I think Bryan Edwards would be a great addition to the Packers receiving corps. Then with the 94th pick, I got them going James Lynch, defensive tackle from Baylor. There's a lot to like about this guy. He does need to develop a little bit more, but this guy just runs people over. Let me just give you some stats. I know stats aren't everything, but these stats are pretty good. Last year as a defensive tackle, 13.5 sacks, 19.5 tackles for a loss. That's pretty damn good. While obviously we're going to be re-signing Kenny Clark and giving him a crap ton of money, he needs some support. He needs another guy on the line. I think James Lynch would definitely fit that bill. And again, right off the bat, we would secure 3 positions of need. A lot of the mock drafts I did before this, I saw us going cornerback early, but I don't know if Goody is going to want to spend another premium pick on a cornerback since we just did that. But I think they'll get a corner later in the draft. But yeah, I think this would definitely fit their defensive tackle need. Obviously, there's talk about them just staying at 30 and getting a guy like Blacklock. Domofsky said that yesterday. There's potential for that, but I think there's good value in the later days too. So I have them going Lynch here. 136, I have them going Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back from Vanderbilt. Guy breaks tackles, doesn't really have a whole lot of speed, but to give you an idea, every 16 and a half times that he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. Every 16 and a half touches. It's pretty good. I think that he is being super duper undervalued. The reason I'm picking running back here is I do not want to pick one in the second round. Obviously, we have a very big question of what do we do with Aaron Jones next season as his contract is up. We also have Jamal Williams, in which we're going to run into the same problem. I feel like Vaughn can be a great number 2 if we have to let one of them go. Obviously, I mean, I put out the video, are we going to let Aaron Jones walk? And a lot of people gave me a lot of crap for that. And then they realized, oh crap, we're going to have to pay him a crap ton of money. And I love Aaron Jones a lot, but do we pay running backs? I mean, that usually gets teams into a lot of trouble. And so I think that Goody hedges his bets here and picks up a guy who could potentially take the mantle just in case one or more of them leave. Then at 175, I have them going with Neville Clark, the cornerback from UCF. Again, corner, they need some depth there as we have too many question marks there. I'm not going to give up on Josh Jackson just yet. I just need to see something from him. He's not super fast, but he had 13 passes defended in 2018 and 11 passes defended in 2019 and 2 interceptions each. He's got good ball skills. The problem with him is going to be his speed. But like I said, at this point, we're just going to kind of go for depth. Then at 192, I'm having a guy that I picked in my previous mock, and that's Dalton Keene, the tight end from Virginia Tech. Great blocking tight end, and again, I feel like he could be a guy that could replace Mercedes Lewis come next season. I still believe in Jay Sternberger and do not believe in trading for O.J. Howard for the 15th millionth time, but I think Dalton Keene would be a nice number 2 behind Jay Sternberger. Then at 208, I have them going another guy I saw at the last draft. Raekwon Williams, the defensive tackle from Michigan State, has a lot of versatility. Is 6'4", 308 pounds. A little slow, but again, for depth, it just makes sense. And then targeting big guys on the line, you can never have too many big, beefy men. And you could quote me on that. Then at 209, you got Qwest Watkins, the wide receiver from Southern Miss. Ran a 4.35 at the combine, which is great. Had over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns last season. Still needs to develop going up for those 50-50 balls, but has great speed. And I think that I would be shocked if the Packers don't pick up at least 2 wide receivers, one in the early rounds and then one at the end. And so Watkins just fits the bill here. Then 236, I got Rodney Clemens, the safety from SMU. 27 passes defended, 7 interceptions in his career at college, but he needs a lot of work. Yes, we already have 2 starting safeties, but I feel like you can never have too many guys there for depth. And after those 2, we got pretty much nothing. So yeah, I feel like, again, just bring him in to compete. And then finally at 242, Aaron Rodgers' successor, Cole McDonald, had a farm. The QB from Hawaii. Yeah, his accuracy is terrible. I think he created maybe 29% of his deep ball passes, but he's super duper athletic. Just bring him in. Who cares? Just bring him in at this point. I just spend the pick back here, and then next year you could go and pick an early pick for the QB. That's fine. I liked his name. Cole McDonald had a farm, but he cannot throw. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. We will be doing a stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, in which we will be doing plenty of mock drafts, so feel free to join in on there. That should be fun. But let me know. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media. See down below. Check out Packast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the Patreon members over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. But thank you so much for watching. We're one day away, folks. And as always, go Pack, go.